You're at the Watchman Way. July 5th, 2020. From Tehachapi, California. We've been making the rounds. California, Arizona, Nevada, Mesa, Scottsdale, Tehachapi, Los Molinos, Vallejo, Rohnert Park. We're traveling. Looks like California for a week probably. We've got some remodel work to look at on the family ranch. And then probably Idaho is where I'm leaning. I'll keep you posted. Recap on Vegas. Spent 5 nights there. Left Vegas with $300 more than I went there with. So paid for the room, paid for food. Left with $300 more. Not bad for Vegas. 67 shot in Chicago, 4th of July weekend. 13 fatally. They wonder why gun control isn't going anywhere. They don't have a very good track record. Gun control, we can put that to rest right now. We will never have to worry about gun control again. With what's happened in our country the last year, they won't ever be able to make another argument about magazine capacities or any other infringement on our Second Amendment rights. It's very clear, that the Second Amendment was not about target shooting. It was not about hunting. It was about defending ourselves from a tyrannical government and any other threat. It can't be infringed. No part of it. And there's no better illustration of why than what we've just gone through the past year. You get 30 people surrounding your car with your family inside who want to do you harm. And a couple of 30-round magazines would be nice to have in your hand. We're in good shape, guys. All of this is destroying the globalist agenda, the globalist plans they have for controlling every aspect of our lives, from building departments to county commissioners to police departments to, educational system. There's not a facet of our lives that you can't find globalist tentacles trying to infiltrate and manipulate and control. It's all over. The good thing about what we're going through right now is it's a pain in the ass, but we're going to clean out about 50 problems at once because of it. It was an all or nothing deal. They went all in and they lost. America wins. Patriots win. God wins. Black hats lose. Is anybody surprised? How are you going to beat God and President Trump? Just think about that. Obviously, they're not. China new car sales crashed 37% in the fourth week of June. 37%. You explain to me how we're going to have a recovery. There's going to be a recovery. Not the way everybody's saying it is. We will recover from this. But it's not going to be the V shape, right back up. Not going to happen. There's going to be a big valley here that we're going to have to dig our way out of. And that's okay. We can get through it. We've been through tough times before. But at least we'll have a government that's trying to do the best they can for us, instead of a government that's trying to bury us. Literally. Let's see. Oh. The NFAC sounds like a group funded by Soros / Obama. Violent, trying to instigate confrontations. They were in Stone Mountain, Georgia, over the weekend, I guess, and harassing white people, heavily armed. Most of them supposedly have military training and or, Soros-funded training. Also, I guess Soros put in funded a lot of weapons too. Here's my take. We have nothing to worry about from these guys. They would love to get something started. The Patriots aren't falling for it. If they did want to, try some kind of terrorist attacks or any kind of violence, they have to look at the numbers. It's the same thing that we've been talking about. There's a lot of things they would like to threaten us with. They would like to scare us with. But when you think about these things rationally, the things they're proposing, it's like the EMP, or it's the China invasion, or the UN's going to come and take our guns. You have to look at it logically. And none of those things can happen. Like this group. They've got a group. There's a bunch of guys with guns. But how many guys do they really have? Do they have 100,000? No, they don't. Do they have 50,000? No, they don't. They might have a couple of thousand. What are you going to do? To get slaughtered? I mean, you can. I'm going to guarantee you something right now. The white hats in the FBI know where every single one of these people live. Every single last one of them. They know every weapon they possess. How in the hell do you think they're going to do anything and get away with it? They're not. At the first sign, they'd all be arrested. It's something that they're using to instill fear and distraction, to get us off of the track of satanic pedophilia, because they understand this is what brings them down. This is the obstacle they have no answer for. They know that when this comes out, they're finished. It's all over. That's what they want to distract us from. That's what they're trying to delay, is those announcements. And with Ghislaine Maxwell being arrested last week, where do you think this is headed? Exactly where they don't want it headed. Satanic pedophilia, exposing and eradicating it. And no one is going to protest when they arrest Clinton and Obama, when they release the videos they have of them. Crickets. You're going to hear crickets. Now, there's going to be a few crackpots out there. The CIA's run studies on this. 3 to 5% is all of the population that would condone this perversion, this sickness, these monsters. And they know it. They funded these studies. They're the ones that had the CIA do the studies. They wanted to know where they would stand when this got exposed, because they knew eventually it was going to. You know, what they want is not for it to come out until after they had 100% control of the world. And probably with 7 billion less people. Their plan, Agenda 21, look it up on the UN website. Unfortunately for them, God had a different idea. God delivered President Trump to them. President Trump is God's sword, is God's hammer. And he is wielding it mightily against these monsters. State Department warns top U.S. firms to replace supply chain exposed to China's Zhejiang province. It's the same problem that we had the first go-round. We have almost, well, let's put it this way. Most factories around the world rely on China for at least some parts. It may be just a small amount of parts. But just think about this. If you're trying to put something together, you make whatever. Let's just say you make lawnmower engines and you buy your pistons from China. You could have your whole factory shut down, and this has happened around the world and caused, I think, a lot of bankruptcies. You know, you could have all your other parts. If you're, like in this case, manufacturing lawnmower engines and you don't have pistons, guess what? Your plant's going to shut down. And you're not going to sell any lawnmower engines until you get those parts from China. I mean, it devastated a lot of companies the first go round. Going to do the same thing now. We're going to. This is going to hurt China, I think, more than they believe, because companies just won't want to deal with it anymore, right? If they can't depend on deliveries, if a country becomes too volatile, it doesn't, the savings you may make don't outweigh the revenue lost in a situation like this. So you're going to find more and more companies dumping China completely. and rightfully so, and maybe paying a little bit more, but not having to worry about being shut down because of, China's volatility and really any aspect you want to figure, because we've got the viruses going now, and this new one they're talking about, a swine type virus. What's going to be next? Riots. China is a powder keg. What's going on in Hong Kong very easily could spill over into the rest of the country. The people are fed up in China. And if China ever got in a war with America, you'd have more than half the Chinese people siding with America, because there is no love lost um, on the Chinese government. The people, obviously, you can imagine living under that pressure, that communist pressure, this social scoring, and all the. Just think: would you rather be free, or would you? There's no one in their right mind would want to live in that environment. Um, the people aren't happy. I believe 100%. Within 10 years for sure, communism's dead in the world. Maybe could be 5 years. And if God wants to get involved, it could be this year, because this thing is so. I think Putin knows it's going. Communism's going. I think Putin's already resigned himself to that fact. China's going to be a little bit tougher gig, but the handwriting's on the wall. Communism has never worked in the world, will never work in the world, not going to work in China, not going to work in Russia. I mean, it already failed once in the Soviet Union. Communism's dead. Just a matter of when they declare the time of death. And like I said, 10 years tops. I'd like to see it sooner. We'll see. Manhattan apartment sales plummet the worst in 3 decades, 30 years. That doesn't sound very good either. I've had a couple of people challenge me about telling people to pull their money out of their pension funds or their 401ks and their banks. My question to those people is, what the hell where are you getting your information? Open your freaking eyes. Anyone who does not see that the worldwide economy is on the brink of total devastation, complete and utter economic devastation, you're as blind as a freaking bat. I mean, you don't have to be an economist. Don't have to be a genius. There's worldwide record debt. And they shut the worldwide economy down for, 6 months now? More than 4. I just don't understand how anyone could not, at this point in time, unless you only watch CNN and you didn't do any other research, would be the only way I think any intelligent person could think this, because it's a bloodbath out there. There's no good economic news out there. The stock market that we're pumping $1 trillion a month into to keep it propped up is the only bright spot. And that's a joke. I mean, think about this. It took us 230 something years to get to what was his joke anyway, they said was the first, well, no. Yeah, it was around 230 years for our first 10 trillion. So 230 years for 10 trillion in debt. Now it's $1 trillion a month. So in a year, 12 months, 12 trillion, we get more debt than we did in the entire 230 something year history of the first 10 trillion. So how do you make that work? It's unsustainable. You can't, I mean, it's hyperinflation. And for new people, anytime you have a fiat currency, a currency not backed by anything, like our dollar, US dollar is. Up until 1971, the United States had a gold-backed currency. In 1971, we went off the gold standard, which allowed these criminals to print as much money as they wanted. Because we didn't have to up until 71, we could only print money for the amount of gold we had backing it. We couldn't print any more than that. We had to get more gold in the system. Buy more gold. We could print more money. Now we can just print. Doesn't make any difference. Well, when you overprint a currency, and that's a fiat currency, a currency that's not backed by anything, there have been at least a couple of thousand. The first one was in 1050 AD in China, so about 1,000 years ago. In over 1,000 years, we've had over 2,000 of these fiat currencies. Not a single one has survived. Not a single one. 2,000 in over 1,000 years, not a single one survived. When you overprint a fiat currency, you get hyperinflation. Like we saw in Weimar Germany, we saw in Zimbabwe, we saw just recently in Venezuela. It's coming back to Zimbabwe again. Basically, those are the pictures you see of people with wheelbarrows full of cash stacked up to buy a loaf of bread at the grocery store. That's hyperinflation. That's where we're headed right now in America when we print $1 trillion a month. There will be a reset. 100% guaranteed mathematical certainty. Whether President Trump declares it or whether it's through NASARA, which is, everybody needs to look it up. More and more info, more and more rumors coming out of Canada, around the world, about debts being paid off. Again, I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying it's still a possibility. And every day that goes by looks more like it's possible that it may happen. I hope it does. It would only be icing on the cake. Now, for the watchmen, the people who are prepared, extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, and Litecoin, if you've got those things, you're going to thrive through no matter what happens. Economic collapse, reset, doesn't make any difference. You're going to be fine. Now, if you're not prepared, the NASARA is what you need to happen, because you're going to lose your pension fund if we have a natural collapse, if we have to do a reset that's not NASARA, an independent reset by President Trump. It's your only hope if you're not prepared with Litecoin and silver, because with NASARA, the pension funds would be saved. Bank accounts, we'll have to see. But if you're prepared, it's just icing on the cake to have NASARA come through also. We'll see. We're going to know here, I think, pretty quick. Next few weeks, I think. I'm still thinking something's going down. Middle of the month, we're at the 5th. That's 10 days basically. In the next 10 days, we'll see. %80 of New York City restaurants couldn't afford their June rent. 80% of New York City restaurants. Let that sink in. Thousands of restaurants couldn't pay their June rent. That doesn't sound very good either. Moon mining could begin as early as 2025. How about Saturn? How about Mars? There are rumors that we already have a base on Mars, maybe more than one. A lot of crazy stuff coming out, guys. You know, I'm not 100% on Mars, but I've seen some really interesting things about Mars. They say we have the technology. We'll see. Goldman cuts the GDP forecast due to virus resurgence. More good news for President Trump. How are the globalists, the liberals, the deep state going to blame this on President Trump when it's the virus? It's a resurgence of the virus. It's not President Trump. President Trump didn't do anything. He didn't cause the virus. It came from China. Bill Gates, Dr. Fauci, they were involved in the lab where this came from. How can you blame President Trump? Just more good news. I mean, that's the problem with these guys. This is the best thing they could come up with, and they can't even get a glancing blow on President Trump with this crap. He didn't do it. You can't blame it on President Trump. He's basically turned it over to the medical professionals, Dr. Fauci, to call the shots. He's just been waiting like the rest of us to let the medical professionals do their jobs. Well, guess what? You just took all the pressure off President Trump. You can't hold him accountable for any of this because he's played it brilliantly. He put it back on you. And you screwed the pooch. You blew it. You choked. You can't make this stuff up. Here we go. U.S. recovery set to stall as virus cases surge. I rest my case. The economy collapses. How do you blame this on President Trump? I mean, make no mistake. They're going to try, but the American people are watching all this. They're reading these headlines. So now tomorrow you're going to say, oh, the economy collapsed. It's all President Trump's fault. You can't. I mean, you can say it. No one's going to believe it. No one's going to buy it. You look like an idiot making the claim. Now, Dr. Fauci better run for the hills because how many thousands of businesses did Fauci bankrupt with his dog and pony show for the flu, for protecting us from the flu? President Trump's just he's listening to the medical professionals tell us how dangerous this thing is. He's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. He's 100% off the hook. And these idiots Gave him a free pass. You can't write a better script. We're going to have this. How many great movies are we going to get out of this? This is a great comedy right here. Like the Keystone Cops. That's how inept they've been. For people who had 90%, who had amassed 90% of the world's wealth. Yeah, these monsters, these satanic pedophile / globalist / deep state / liberals had held 90% of the wealth of the world and got their asses kicked. Got their asses handed to them by President Trump. That's what happens when you have yes men as your enemies. They don't make formidable enemies when they're yes men, because they're not used to thinking for themselves. They're used to taking orders and saying yes and nothing more. When it comes crunch time, they didn't do so well. Thank God and President Trump for what's happening right now. Arizona's going to a Chinese-style social scoring. They're claiming it's to determine who's going to get treatment that they're low on. This governor in Arizona, he needs to go. I won't go back until we get rid of him. Trust me, he's going. Third mystery blast in less than a week in Iran. Targets power plant. What have I been telling you? These aren't mysteries. This is the white hats, U.S. white hats, destroying U.S. black hat assets and bases in Iran. That's what's going on right now. This is all part of the plan. BLM protester dies after being struck on a Seattle freeway. Going to start happening more and more. You want to run out in front of cars? Guess what? Fleet sales plunged 56% in June, pressuring U.S. auto markets even further. 56%. That doesn't sound very good. Here's something that doesn't sound very good for Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates. A Stanford doctor just came out saying that the virus fatality rate for people under 40 is almost zero. If you're under 40 and you got the virus, near zero, almost 0% mortality rate, fatality rate. Not very good for the people that have been pushing how dangerous this virus is. It's not dangerous. It's a frickin' flu. Take your mask off. The mask is going to hurt you worse than this virus will. Guaranteed. The mask caused pleurisy. That's a fact. The world is drowning in too much debt for stocks to go down again. That's JP Morgan. Yeah, I'm going to listen to JP Morgan. Unbelievable. Cuban government, this is for real. Cuban government tells their people, grow your own food or starve. That's Cuba right now. Another communist state. Grow your own food or starve. Unreal. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. We're doing okay. We got for questions. Linda, how you doing? Paris, what's up? Tommy can tell you about playing in the freeway. Doesn't end well. Kevin's posted the link for Graviola tea. Cecil, what's up? Oh, reminds me. We have a new member in the Prescott area who's looking for a home to rent. 2 to 3 bedrooms. She has pets, 2 sons, but she complained about a broken window and they evicted her. Living in Prescott. And her problem is she works from home and she works on the internet. So if she loses her house, she loses her job too. So she needs a place to go. Anybody in the Prescott Valley area know of anybody that anything for rent where they take pets? Please get a hold of me. Let me know. Give me a contact info. I'd appreciate it. Where am I at here? I guess there were 2 people, Linda's saying, were hit in Seattle. Where am I at here? Which way am I going? Tessie, how you doing? Kevin, Cindy, hello. Tessie 2, how you doing? Jeff, what's up? Melody, how are you? Kevin's got the qmap.pub posted here for people who are looking to get into Q a little bit deeper. Joanne, how you doing? Lisa, hello. Aaron, hello. Chelsea, hello. You guys picking me up okay? It looks good on my end. Looks like I got good reception. Jeff. Yeah, the kids are probably not going back to school. Well, let me rephrase that. I think the kids are going back to school in September. President Trump, I think, is going to wrap this whole thing up this month. We'll see. I do not see him letting these letting Gates and Fauci dictate much more to us how this is going to be played out. I think in July he steps in and shuts his crap down. Well, here's the thing, guys. We don't want to play into any radical group's hands. And I'm not saying don't defend yourself. If you're in a situation and you need to defend yourself, you defend yourself. But we don't need to look for any problems. My take is that, you know, if we're talking about a peaceful protest, like you could say this one was like, well, by today's standards, it was pretty peaceful. No shooting, no violence. There was harassment, it sounded like. In my mind, we can take a little harassment if it avoids people dying for no reason, because this will be wasted life. Anyone who dies from here on out, because of what's going on in our country and where we're headed, it's a wasted death, because this is over. The white hats win. God wins. The good guys win. There's no changing where this is headed. My hope is we just kind of cruise through the last part of this, let President Trump wrap up what he needs to wrap up, then we move to the next phase, the recovery. That's what we want. We don't want any skirmishes. We don't want anybody to lose their life when we're this close to the end. 176,000 sealed indictments, over almost 21,000 unsealed, and 400,000 non-sealed. It's crazy, guys. Susan, how you doing? Wendy, hello. Thanks, Kevin. Oh, we still need, number one, Jerry and your twin brother Gary. I thought you were going to help. You need to call Kevin. Then anybody else who can help with Ledger, Litecoin, Silver, please get a hold of me or Kevin. Anybody who can help with administrative things, please get a hold of Lisa or I. We need a lot of help, guys. We're getting behind. This thing's starting to take off. Bill, how you doing? Trust the plan. Stay calm. Be aware of your surroundings. Head on a swivel. Situational awareness. Well, yeah, that's the survival rate is better than 99%. Yeah, you guys, listen. When I say self-defense is, that line is fluid. You know, you're talking about a whole different situation. If you're surrounded by 10 people with your family in the car, you get a lot less leeway from me in that situation. In other words, I'm pulling the trigger a lot quicker than if I'm by myself and there's a couple of people. I'm going to be a little bit easier on the trigger in that situation. If my family's in the car and you're threatening and there's overwhelming numbers, now I'm going to try and diffuse that situation first, but If I've got to pull the trigger, I'm going earlier rather than later because we're already at a big disadvantage, right? Um, Everybody has to make that call on their own. Very few of us, thank God, are going to be in that situation. I keep saying 1 in 100 of us will maybe have to pull a trigger. 1 in 100. But you have to think about these things, though, guys. Think about these scenarios, possible scenarios, things you see on TV. Imagine yourself in those scenarios, what you would do, how you would react if you're armed and your family is threatened. You need to think about it now. You don't want to be thinking about on the fly when things are swirling around you. Much better to have a concise plan or a game plan at least so that you understand what you're dealing with. And it's not just bam, snap off the top of your head. That's when you make mistakes. The more you can analyze a situation, the better. The problem is, in a lot of these dangerous situations, you better have thought about them beforehand. And that's where the training comes in. It's not just training shooting your firearm. It's training running through the scenarios where you might possibly have to use your firearm. You got to think about those things. Puts a lot more pressure on you when you haven't thought about it and you find yourself in that spot. Good and cheap, carbon 60. Everybody should be on it. Dallas from Montana, how you doing? Melanie, hello. Bo Pony says Litecoin should jump in October. Litecoin's going to jump when the economy collapses or the reset happens. That's when Litecoin and silver will jump. Anytime now. I think before October, but it's going to happen when it happens. Don't forget your colloidal silver, Mike Janman. A fraction of what it cost at GNC. Yeah, grow your own food and then they'll take it from you. Melody's right. We are united and only getting stronger. What these fools don't understand is they're uniting Christians and patriots like we've never seen before. And we're headed in the greatest spiritual awakening in mankind's history. Attitude is everything, guys. A positive attitude will bring you positive results. You think negative, you're going to get negative. 89 and humid. See, that's why I don't like the East Coast. I hate the humidity. Prescott, Prescott is in Arizona. It's north of Phoenix. I don't know, an hour and a half, something like that, right, Cecil? About an hour and a half north of Phoenix, Prescott is. Teddy, what's up? There's Jerry. Jerry, please call Kevin. Carolyn, how you doing? Carolyn's may have the virus. Hang in there, Carolyn. Tonic water and zinc, Carolyn. Tonic water and zinc. You should be drinking that right now. And taking your carbon 60. Carbon 60 isn't going to hurt. It's only going to help. Raylyn, how you doing? Amen and thank you, Kevin. Chris's AC went out in Arizona. I just came from Arizona. You don't want your air conditioning out in Arizona. I mean, the last almost 3 months I was there, I think it was over 100 degrees. There might have been 2 or 3 days in the last 3 months I was there. Well, 2 months I was there. Last 2 months I was there, maybe 2 or 3 days that didn't hit 100 degrees. And many times it was 106, 108. Or hey, how you doing? No problem, Jorge. Uh, Schools start on the August 11th in Montana. Good for Montana. They're going to start schools. Yeah, we all need the armor of God right now, guys. Mine is battle scarred. Dinged and dented. Mike, what's up? Jeff, yeah, get a hold of us, Jeff. You got that, Kevin? Jeff Perkins. Uh, Wendy, talk to Lisa. We've got a lot of stuff that needs to be done. So, Wendy, if you get a hold of Lisa Beeler, or get a hold of me, and I'll get your info to Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, he said it was a war zone in Southern Cal. The sky was lit up like they'd never seen, supposedly. I'm in California. I'm in Tehachapi, California. Be in California probably for a week. Probably headed out a week from today. We'll see how it plays out. But you know, I'm pretty fluid day by day for the most part. Just kind of seeing where God wants me to go. GNC's declaring bankruptcy. Not surprising. Yeah, September is going to be devastating for the economy. You know, but I think we're going to may have a reset before then. Hopefully, we'll have a reset before then. CEO resignations, yeah, got to look at that. Hundreds. Texas 100 and warm, yeah, yeah, 100 and warm. You don't need to. You don't need the end warm. 99. Here's what I hate. 99 degrees with 55% humidity. That's what I don't like. I'll take the 99 degrees. If it's dry heat, that's the good thing about Arizona. I actually like 100 degrees in Arizona better than I like 90 with humidity, or even 80 with humidity. Yeah, the problem with zinc is everybody knows it. They've been buying zinc like crazy. Keep looking. You can also get zinc through oh, I was actually thinking of iron. Chris at least has got a window AC. That helps. Bill started taking carbon 60 last week. Has not had an afternoon nap since. I'm telling you guys, this stuff is amazing. Yeah, distance learning. Yeah. Wendy, how you doing? Melissa, hello. Well, yeah, I'll be going through those rolling. I spent a lot of time in Bakersfield back in the 80s. I was a district manager for Sambo's Restaurants and helped convert the district down in Bakersfield, Fresno back in the 80s. Um, anyway, good times in Bakersfield. And of course, we rodeoed down here a lot, Southern California. Uh, Actually, Poppy wasn't my cat. Poppy stayed there in Mesa. Yeah, dry is the best for me. Larry, what's up? BJ likes Colorado. Colorado's nice. I like Colorado. Stephanie found zinc on Amazon, guys. Well, tonic water does have quinine in it, right? Okay, guys, that's all the questions, comments. Hmm. Um, Pay attention. A lot going down. I think the arrests are ongoing. I think sometime this month, I still think maybe by the middle of the month, we're going to have announcements on arrests. We'll see how it plays out. It doesn't make any difference, the timing. It's happening. That's 100% guaranteed. This is going down. We just need to be patient. We need to appreciate the time we have, because every day extra that we get is an extra day to red pill and prepare people. We will keep doing this through the economic collapse and the reset. But it's not going to be as profitable for the people that we red pill, because buying Litecoin at $40 is a lot different than buying Litecoin at $140. You're not going to make as much. You're not going to be able to buy as much. So if you can get it now, take advantage of these gifts from God, because silver should not be around 20 an ounce or less, and Litecoin shouldn't be less than 45. I mean, they both should be $1,000 right now, based on what's happening around the world. These are truly gifts from God. Get your money out of the bank. Get your money out of bonds, stocks, 401ks. Get it into assets outside the system, physical, silver, and Litecoin. God showed them to me for a reason. And look, this was over 5 years ago, and look what's happened. Everything God showed me, we're in the middle of it. And the watchmen see this. The only people that don't see it are the people that can't read, that can't see the signs, that don't understand. Because if you study this stuff at all, the economy's falling apart. There's really no good information anywhere in the world. Worldwide record debt that can't be serviced. We can't make the interest payments. It's a recipe for a financial disaster that's coming. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Protect your future. Litecoin and silver. Get it today. All the sites will be listed. Get a hold of Kevin or me. Kevin's number 702-325-9258. My number 707-696-4188. If you need any help with Litecoin or silver, we will have Jerry's phone number for you here by tomorrow, right, Jerry? Or Jerry, you could post your phone number right now for people to call you with Litecoin and silver questions. Okay, guys. Keep pushing. All the way to the end. Every day matters. Every person matters. I'm going to end it with our prayer. For God and country, amen. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5 Pacific. God bless.